Okay, fam, welcome back. So today we're going to be doing a super quick video on the markets. So with that being said, let's get it. Okay, so contrary to the traditional markets, crypto is actually holding up quite well. As you guys can see, Bitcoin is still positive, which is quite shocking considering the sell-off we've seen the last couple of days. And the Grayscale Trust, which we will be talking about tomorrow, also holding up quite well considering the last couple of days. And let me show you guys what I mean. All right, so the markets as a whole are getting absolutely destroyed. They had a minus 5% day yesterday. And again, roughly about another minus 5% today. I can show you guys that on the daily. It's absolutely atrocious. Very bad negative sentiment right now. It does appear that potentially we may about to hit full oversold territory in the weekly. You can see it down here on the RSI. Again, this is the bear flag target. We've almost hit it. The target's somewhere around 16,500. I personally did not think that we were going to have another sell-off day today, but is what it is. So we just got to deal with the hand that we're dealt, right? What I will say about this is everything across the board is just getting absolutely decimated, which means that these could be some extremely rare, very rare buying opportunities. And if this weekly oversold signal on the RSI is anything like what we saw back in 2022, we may be pretty much at the bottom at this point or very close to it. That's kind of my thought processes here. And of course, Powell came out today, did not signal any potential rate cuts. So there's that. But my theory on this whole thing still remains the same, that I think that Trump's trying to force the Fed's hand here to cut rates and also restructure the national debt. And there's a good reason to believe that's the case. So TSLL, unfortunately, the bump and run pattern has not played out as of yet. I wouldn't say it's necessarily negated. We have to see how the weekly time frame closes here, but I mean, it doesn't look great on the weekly. I'll say that probably as long as we don't get any kind of candle close, probably below right about 780, we should be good to potentially still get it, but that remains to be seen. So there's a few other things I wanted to point out real quick, and that is that the VIX is just absolutely gone straight through the roof. It is up a monstrous 34% today. It was up like 30-something percent yesterday too. It's up at a 40 right now. And there is a reason why I want to cover this. And there's some correlation here. Okay, there's a reason why I'm bringing this up. So y'all probably think like, oh yeah, you're just bringing up random stuff. No, this isn't random. Trust me. Okay, so the last time we saw a major VIX spike like this was during the carry trade, and then before that we saw it right around the pandemic level, and then 2018, of course, the Fed, doing some funny business with the markets. So, anyways, regardless of that, these rare VIX spikes did ultimately lead to some massive, absolute monstrous bull runs once the selling was done. Okay. You guys already know what happened in 2021. You know what happened after the carry trade. Obviously, from 2018 to 2025, the markets went higher, right? So I don't think I need to say more about this. These stocks above the 50 and the 200-day moving average are absolutely just dumpster fires right now, and they're probably going to be even lower by the end of this trading session. Yields are coming down, which is obviously good. That would further convince the Fed to cut rates, I would think. So what I will say on top of this is, again, another great signal to potentially be buying the dip here is the fact that we are at a 4 on extreme fear out of 100. Think about this. The lowest that it can go is 0, and we're at a 4 out of 100. That means 96% already to the downside, which means I think, in my opinion, again, I can't say with certainty, but in my opinion, I think pretty much almost all of the sell-off, or most of it, probably almost all of it at this point, has been baked into the market, and we're just seeing just an absolute SHIT show, if you know what I'm saying. So the portfolio got hit again today. We made a few changes. So we got rid of QDTE. We're going to talk about this weekend when we do our monthly video, but we're restructuring the entire portfolio. Again, it has nothing to do with the sell-off. It's just it's very difficult to maintain too many positions, so we kind of want to scale it down a little bit and concentrate a little bit more. So that's part of the reason why. So we got rid of QDTE, but what we did do in exchange is we bought more GPIQ and a little bit more SOXL, or sorry, not SOXL, TSLL, but we also bought SOXL too. You can see it here. and we put a call on. So kind of the idea here is to get weekly income on this. I'll show you SOXL in a minute. I mean, the thing is just so ungodly dirt cheap. We're looking at it and we're like, you know what, to hell with it. I mean, can it really go that much lower? I mean, it's possible, but probably not likely at this point. So 100 shares at 907 as of right now. We could always scale more in. And again, we'll touch on this a little bit more when we do the monthly video, kind of the forward projections that we're going to do. So TSLL, just taking a quick peek at this, you can see we bought 5 shares at 835, so we're still buying. We put on a cash secured put, but we closed it out for about $100 loss, which we'll also talk about this weekend. So because again, we kind of thought that yesterday's sell-off was going to be it, and then it wasn't it. So sometimes it makes sense just to cut your losses, so to speak, than to take additional risk or more than necessary. So that's what we did. So anyways, but again, this is not new for us. Like we always say, you can take wins, you can take losses, but at the end of the day, you always want to win more than you lose, right? That's kind of the goal. So that's what we're looking at here. So we got rid of QDTE, and just wanted to show you guys GPIQ real quick. So this thing is, as shocking as this sounds, this thing is almost back at inception price, which is pretty insane. I mean, it could get cheaper than this. It's always possible, but I mean, at this point, I would say it's a steal to buy these. The performance over the time from inception to the peak that we saw back in February was actually really, really good. I mean, it went up in price, and the dividends also went up in price. So this is a steal to buy at this point, in my opinion. So we bought another nearly 5 shares here, and I'll give you guys a comparison here with the JEPQ. So if you think that GPIQ's going down, it's going to zero. It's probably not going to zero, but it is unfortunately sold off a lot. So if we compare JEPQ, I mean, this thing is also down very considerably. Okay. So it doesn't really look a whole lot different than GPIQ, in my opinion. I mean, it was up 16.3%, and now in terms of all time or max time frame, it's down 6.21%. Again, this thing is lower than inception price, whereas GPIQ is actually still higher than inception price, and JEPQ has a longer time frame. That is true. But nonetheless, it just goes to show how, or maybe it doesn't. No, maybe it doesn't. Never mind. That must be JEPI. So anyways, regardless, it just goes to show you how incredibly, incredibly ungodly cheap these prices are right now. Okay. So I did want to point that out. We keep a solid buffer, for situations like this in terms of, you guys can see the cash position down here. So that's pretty much what's going on with that right now. And I did also want to show you guys, trying to remember what it was. Something else I wanted to show you guys. So, the price of SOXL. So the reason why we took this position is because you can see this thing has just gotten absolutely destroyed. I mean, this is the time, in my opinion, that it's good to at least, I can't tell you guys what to do, but it's most investors that get really wealthy over a long time, they'll look at prices like these when they're sitting on cash and saying, it's pretty cheap right now. Maybe I might want to get some. Okay. So we're oversold on the weekly. We have not seen this since basically about the bear market lows of 2022. So June, October timeframe. And I mean, the rest is history. The thing did literally a 10x from that point. So again, we only have 100 shares, but you can see the upside potential to get back to the highs is absolutely insane. That does not include options, premiums, or dividends, because this thing does have both. And it's down nearly 90% from the recent swing high. So, and also like something like NVIDIA is just getting absolutely plummeted. A lot of these things are just getting dumped on hardcore. So like I said before, in my opinion, I think they're relatively cheap right now and worth considering looking at. We bought obviously on the weekly oversold, so we may buy more in the future. Again, we'll talk about that this weekend. So anyways, hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.